last Italian maestro, handpicked by the great Enzo Ferrari himself, had the hopes of an entire nation resting on his shoulders, and was the heir apparent to Alberto Ascari's throne. He was a gladiator behind the wheel, a total professional, to say the least, when it came to machines. His crazy determination was hotter than a turbocharged V12. This is the story of Michele Alberto. He's the last of a breed that can hop into any race car and just handle it like it's no big deal. Michele, Lauda began, sort of zoning out, was a total class act, a true racer's racer. He wasn't in it for the fame or the big money, but just for the pure, unfiltered thrill of going fast. He could not help but think of Alboreto's awesome smile, his solid sportsmanship, and that fire in his eyes, brighter than any engine out there. A driver who, even at the end of his career, went after the checkered flag with the same drive as a newbie on his first lap. He did not really need the money, thought Lauda, and he certainly had a lot left in the tank, but that fire in his tummy, that urge to really push himself and the car to the maximum, it never diminished. Lauda's words were kinda heavy, really driving home how close you can be to winning or totally crashing out in Formula One. The risks are always present and the stakes are super high, but honestly, the excitement of the chase is just too hard to resist. We all know it is dangerous, Lauda said, but the kick of being on the edge, the reason we all want to jump back into it at the next second, once that vibe is gone, it's time to hang the helmet up. For Michele, that never disappeared. Michele Alboreto's victory at the 1985 German Grand Prix was quite something, as it had been his fifth and last Formula One victory. He celebrated big time, holding that trophy up high at the podium. This really sealed his position as a contender in the 1985 championship, and, unfortunately, it was the last time an Italian driver ever secured for Ferrari a Formula One championship. Fine, but how did all this come about? Let's go back in time. Formula 3, 1980, a March Toyota showcasing speed and precision, was driven by a passionate young Italian. His first season brought multiple podiums, ending 6th in Europe and 2nd in Italy. That was just a training lap because the next year, 80, he won the European title and podiumed in Italy. He also made waves in Britain at the British Championship. This golden ticket to Europe launched Alboreto into the competitive world of Formula 2, a breeding ground for F1 legends. Partnering with Minardi, Ricciardo secured their first F2 win at Misano. The 1981 season finished 8th, but Alboreto had already left his mark. The paddock was abuzz with word of a future champion. It was a career milestone, one which would be remembered for a long time by Italian fans of the motorsport world. Lancia chose him for their top world championship team while he was chasing Formula dreams, and he juggled racing commitments like a pro. In 1980, he drove the Lancia Beta Monte Carlo in Group 5, alongside legends Walter Röhrl and Eddie Cheever. This trio had 3 second-place finishes by a hair's breadth and 1 nail-biting 4th. This was not the end of Alboreto's endurance racing journey. In 1982, he drove the powerful Lancia LC1, achieving 3 major victories in the World Endurance Championship. In 1981, parallel to his Formula 1 and 2 schedules, Alboreto also competed in some endurance races, including his first 24 Hours of Le Mans event. He managed to finish 8th overall, 2nd in class, and 1st for Lancia. He followed his brilliant performance with a maiden win, dominating the 6 Hours of Watkins Glen with Riccardo Patrese. By the end of the year, Alboreto was the top Lancia driver, a versatile and determined driver. In 1984, he finally joined Ferrari, where Michele Alboreto immediately donned the classic red and left his mark on the team's history. Round 3 at Zolder was important. Dominant throughout, Alboreto grabbed his first Ferrari win as the Tifosi celebrated. He was the first Italian driver to achieve F1 victory for Ferrari since Ludovico Scarfiotti in '66. The pressure was lifted and a new hero emerged. But Alboreto wasn't finished. He climbed the rostrum 3 times more in the season to show just what he was capable of. At the Österreichring, he battled his way up to 3rd place. Then at Monza, Ferrari's home track, he recorded an exciting second place that sent the Tifosi into raptures. Legends are created at the Nürburgring. Alboreto was on course for a podium place with his Ferrari, but the fates were not looking kindly upon him. His fuel tank ran dry with just the final turn remaining, merely coasting him across the finishing line. The checkered flag waved as champion Nelson Piquet faced bad luck, his Brabham BMW stalling near Alboreto. The crowd held its breath, while one could hear a gasp from them in the Eiffel. Alboreto finished second with his heart racing to confirm his determination. The Tifosi just went into a frenzy, a joyful mixture of relief. The turning point was at the Canadian Grand Prix. Alboreto won with his Ferrari, roaring like a lion, as wild cheering erupted from Tifosi at Circuit Gilles Villeneuve. He wasn't finished yet. During the German Grand Prix, Alboreto kept his cool at the Nürburgring, emerging first and leaving all those other drivers in his red Ferrari dust. For one brief moment, fortune smiled upon him. Alboreto led the championship. His dream of being world champion was near. The Tifosi dreamed, their hopes high as the Italian flag. The Lady Luck was not smiling upon him. Alain Prost, professor of Formula One, fought strongly. The battle for the championship, a real legendary clash, kept the fans on edge. Prost won the World Championship in 1985, while Alboreto finished second by a hair. The dream deferred. Even when defeated, Alboreto was impressive. F1 journalist Nigel Roebuck described him as Prost's only real challenger for the World Championship, showcasing his talent and determination. He dominated the 1980s, competing in 80 Grand Prix for Ferrari, showing that he was loyal to this team. It also became a legendary record due to his strong attachment with them. At the 1995 Argentine Grand Prix, Gerhard Berger outdid Alboreto's record, but Alboreto remained unforgettable. The year is 2001, and Michele Albereto's passion for speed leads him to a fateful encounter with destiny. In late April, Alboreto and a dedicated team of Audi engineers descend upon the Euro Speedway Lausitz, a sprawling circuit nestled near Dresden in eastern Germany. Their mission? To push the Audi R8 to its limits, fine-tuning it for the grueling 24 hours of Le Mans in June. Alboreto, the seasoned veteran, takes the wheel, his instincts honed by years of racing. He navigates the tri-oval with blistering speed, the R8 a blur of silver, its engine roaring like a hungry beast. Then he transitions to the Grand Prix circuit, testing the car's agility and precision through its intricate twists and turns. Some of the testing also takes place on the adjacent proving ground, a high-speed oval track designed to push cars to their absolute limits. The air crackles with anticipation as Alboreto prepares to unleash the R8's full potential. Little do they know that fate had a cruel twist in store for everyone. The clock strikes 5:30 p.m., April 25, 2001. Alboreto, pushing the Audi R8 to its limits, unleashes its full fury on the elongated straight of the Lausitz proving ground. The speedometer needle climbs, blurring past 300 km/h, a symphony of speed and power. Suddenly, a sickening pop echoes through the cockpit. The left rear tyre, unable to withstand the immense forces, explodes in a shower of rubber and debris. The R8, now a wounded beast, is thrown into a violent spin, its trajectory unpredictable, its fate sealed. The world seems to slow down as the car careens across the asphalt, a terrifying ballet of metal and momentum. Alboreto, trapped within the cockpit, fights for control, but the forces at play are too great. The impact is devastating. The R8, once a symbol of speed and precision, is now a mangled wreck, its once sleek lines twisted and contorted. Silence descends upon the Lausitz proving ground, a chilling contrast to the roar of the engine just moments before. The aftermath was a scene of utter devastation. The R8, propelled into the air by the sheer force of the impact, somersaulted over the Armco barrier, landing upside down in a twisted heap of metal. In that horrific moment, Michele Alboreto's life was tragically cut short. Initially, Audi remained tight-lipped, offering no explanation for the catastrophic accident. They insisted the R8 had already completed thousands of test kilometers on numerous circuits without any problems, a statement that now hung heavy in the air. A cruel irony in the face of such a devastating loss. 5 days later, the investigation's chilling conclusion sent shockwaves through the motorsport community. A loose screw, a seemingly insignificant detail, had found its way into the tyre, causing a gradual loss of air pressure. This seemingly minor flaw, a tiny chink in the armour of a high-performance machine, had triggered a chain of events that led to the unthinkable: a loose screw. That's all it took to put the great Michele Alboreto 6 feet under. A stark reminder of how fragile life can be, even for those who seem invincible behind the wheel. His cousin Marisa, speaking to the Italian news agency ANSA, captured the heartbreak felt by those who knew him best. "You can't imagine the pain we're enduring as a family," she lamented. "We're absolutely devastated." The outpouring of grief extended far beyond his immediate circle. Fellow Italian driver Giancarlo Fisichella, years later, standing on the podium at the 2005 Italian Grand Prix, dedicated his success to Alboreto. "I know Alboreto was the last Italian to stand on this podium at Monza before me," Fisichella said, his voice thick with emotion. "He was a great person, truly special. I want to dedicate this result to his memory." On August 28, 2021, it was announced that the final corner at the iconic Monza circuit, the Curva Parabolica, would be officially renamed the Curva Alboreto. This gesture, unveiled during the 2021 Italian Grand Prix weekend, marked the 20th anniversary of Alboreto's passing and forever enshrined his name in the heart of Italian motorsport. It was a fitting tribute to a driver who had captured the hearts of the tifosi, a man who embodied the spirit of racing and whose legacy continues to inspire generations of drivers to chase their dreams, even in the face of unimaginable loss. It's a sad wrap on this one. If you're a fan of racing legends, make sure to check out our other videos.